Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to you live here in Philadelphia about keeping it real concerning our youth and their attitudes towards adults, toward themselves. And our subject today is going to be mainly about accountability. Who should be accountable for the actions of our youth? We're finding out that since they have taken prayer out of school, since they don't want prayer in court, since they don't want prayer nowhere, what happens to the spirit in Philadelphia? It used to be the city of brotherly love and motherly affection, brotherhood and sisterhood. Now it is the city they nicknamed Philadelphia. What can we do about accountability? How should we take action to get a better result than what we've had in the last 10 years? So many murders. Like my buddy said, that's a cop, he said most murders occur between the ages of 10 to 22. And who's being murdered? Most children from 10 to 22. Help us. Help us. Join our discussion by emailing me at lewiscarey@yahoo.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brother Will, and he's going to talk to you as well as I am about keeping it real and accountability concerning our youth. Who's to blame? Should we start with the president? Should we start with our politicians? Should we start with our community leaders? Should we start with our parents? Or should we start with our preachers and other religious leaders? You decide. But while you're deciding, please be true to yourself before you can be true to anybody else. And let us know, what can we do? Join the discussion. Write us. Thank you. God bless you. Brother Will, what you think? Where should we start? Who should be to blame?
First of all, before we go into the blame game, let's do it like this. What we need to do as parents of younger kids and of teenagers, even as our adult children, the parents have to look at their own yard first. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, you got an issue right now that even though back when we was growing up, the drug of choice was alcohol. Okay? That wasn't really too bad, although you had a lot of children growing up without their fathers or with alcoholic parents or whatever the case was. But they did what they had to do, so to speak. But if you look at it with the younger generation, with crack being in the game, it's a whole totally different issue. But it's at the same time with that epidemic, and also with this epidemic as well, you got the particular men out here, I won't say fathers, but you have particular men out here that are making children with different women and picking which child they want to take care of.
Now that's a real big problem.
That's a problem, because if you look at it, it's just like the issue that's going on with the elephants nowadays. If you look at the National Geographic channel, you got all these elephants acting out or whatever the case is. It's because these younger elephants are growing up watching their parents being killed by poachers and the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
So that missing presence of that elder that's supposed to take that place to raise that, what they call that young elephant or that young calf, is not there. So in actuality, that calf is raising himself. Same situation in our black community. Either the young black men from ages 16 to 25 is getting killed on a regular basis, and their children are growing up fatherless.
Same as our Latinos, as well as Caucasians,
exactly.
And all men and women of the world that's young and raised up without their parents. Is that right?
And that's true, compounded on the fact that, like I said, these men is going around picking which kids they want to take care of instead of taking care of their children equally. What these men got to realize, and there's some women out there doing the same thing, what these parents have to realize is that I don't care what you and that baby's mother or father is going through. That has nothing to do with that child. That child needs to be taken care of. And if that child is not taken care of the proper way, the child grows up, and as the child grows up, if the child is not mentally, physically strong enough, they turn to the streets for protection. They turn to the streets for advice, and then that's when you got an angry child growing up who think it's cool to rob, steal, whatever the case is, and don't have no quarrels about killing nobody.
So therefore, that's where the misplace of accountability to them mentally is coming about. They're like, I'm not obligated to be accountable for my actions.
Exactly.
Because my dad didn't raise me, or my mother didn't raise me, or my dad raised me, and what happened to my mom? Because you know what? That's another discussion, but we're going to get back on the subject. I really find that it's not even told statistically how many children is growing up without their mother. How many fathers, you know, they're not getting the fair play, because sometimes dads is raising children and doing his best, and he can't put the motherly affection in there because he's known to be the breadwinner, the sacrificer, the protector, and he's tore down himself. Mothers feel the same way. But so we need to even this playing field.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's why I said it doesn't matter whether it's the mother or the father. I'm saying parents in general. This is where it starts.
Right.
Okay, because what happens is everything starts in the home.
Right.
And from the home it ripples out. Okay. Then you get to the issue of male figures out here. Okay. Say I could speak for experience. If I seen a young child or a young dude on the corner, and I feel like I want to go and mentor that kid, then I got an uphill battle, because number one, when you approach a young kid in the street like that, okay, first of all, they done did some dirt, so they on this vibe like, you can't walk up to me any type of way you want to. That's just like when the elders say young people shouldn't say anything out their mouth. We still as elders need to check ourselves and watch how we talk to the youth that's out here.
To each other. Because if me and you cussing each other out, in front of the youth as adults, not respecting them in our present, when they're 5 and 6 and 7 and growing up, man, we catching them at their most valuable time.
And that's
and when they see this is the way, when they see this is how we resolve issues, by using profanity, by using the common vernacular of the streets, by using the immoral standards or ethics or practices. And let me tell you something. They're saying this is the way to survive. Their survival mode kicks in. And they can tell it any way they want to tell it. Most gang activists will say the same thing we're saying right now. The only way these youth is going to become accountable if they see us becoming accountable.
Right, but see, at the same token, you can say that, but it's just like you said, for those people out there that's taking care of their kids, for them people out there that's taking time with their children, for those that's out there raising their girls the right way, raising their boys the right way, you got to look at it like this. For those that stray even in lieu of, you got to wonder, okay, what hold does the streets have on kids to make them do that?
And we can't blame it on drugs all the time. And we can't blame it on alcohol. It's the clothes. It's the fad. It's the fame. See, they go to drugs to get the fad so they can get the fame. You see, it's when you make them believe they're less than an individual by not having the clothes to make the fad, I turn to these things.
That's what the key issue is that one thing I'm glad the public schools did was go to uniforms, because that alleviates to some extent a lot of the pressure on kids needing to have the latest sneakers, the latest jeans, the latest shirts. So that move was cool.
That was a good strategic move.
But now what we got to do as a society, okay, we need to, like I said, it starts with the parents at home, okay? Then like back when we was growing up, like I said, the elders in the neighborhood, if our moms wasn't nowhere around, they checked us if we got out of line.
And we respected that.
Exactly. So now we got to put the respect back in the street.